Did you hear the news? Trump just dropped 100% tariffs on imported drugs. And guess what? Big Pharma is finally blinking. Factories are coming back home and prices are starting to drop. This is huge for all of us, especially after DKI's warnings about our dependency. We've been relying on these imports for too long. Now we might just see a shift in the market. It's time to take control of our healthcare costs. Stay tuned, because this could change everything.
Oh, I also play editor on this. So, pharmaceuticals, drugs. We got lots to talk about. There's big news. What do we got?
Yeah. All right. So last week, President Trump announced a 100% tariff. Sounds big, but stick with me. It's not as big as it seems. A 100% tariff on all branded or patented drug imports from companies not building U.S. plants. That went into effect October 1st. Guess what everybody decided to do? They responded with price cuts, direct-to-consumer discounts. We'll talk about that more later in this episode. And guess what? Talked about plans to start building plants in the United States. Now, normally, I am not so much of a fan of government interference in the economy or with private companies. In this case, I'm breaking a rule. I am strongly in favor of this, and there's a really good reason. So, a little drug history. The United States used to make most of its drugs in Puerto Rico. And the reason for that is there were tax benefits to that. Well, what happened was some genius in Washington said, oh no, we have people making money without being taxed. We have to eliminate this tax benefit because we hate big drug companies. Okay, well, I understand that. Well, here's what happened. They then eliminated the favorable tax treatment, and instead of getting taxes on that production in a U.S. territory, all of that production ended up primarily moving to China. Okay, great. So what we have now is we don't get taxes. We don't get the benefit of collecting taxes on these, companies that Washington likes to call evil. But the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, now has massive leverage over the United States. So think about it. Just a couple of months ago, we saw the White House bend to China on high-end GPUs from NVIDIA when China cut off access to rare earth elements. Well, what do you think happens here if, China invades Taiwan? The United States says, hey, we don't want you to do that. We're going to try to stop you. And China says, okay, great. Well, we're going to kill grandma. We've cut off your prescription drug supply. Now, I've heard people say ridiculously, no, China won't do that. They get money from that. They want them. They don't care. They do not care. They will cut off our drug supply. And so basically, because we've had decades of outsourcing, we have put ourselves in the hands of the CCP, and that is a really big bargaining chip they have there. So what President Trump just did with this announcement of tariffs is provided a gigantic incentive for drug companies to manufacture in the United States. And those companies appear to be responding. I am in favor of reshoring, doubly so in crucial industries like drug production. I like this move.
Okay. It does sound like it has the potential to be really successful. So we'll see if everybody falls in line for companies to start bucking the system. But overall, it's pretty lucid thought.
And you know what? One thing that we are going to talk about later in this issue, it'll be really interesting to see the response of Democrats, because they've hated the drug companies for years and talked about wanting lower drug prices for years. Domestic supply is certainly a national security issue. It'll be really interesting to see if they revert to their previous support of these kinds of measures, which the drug companies might not like, but would be useful for the country, or if they're going to try to fight President Trump. So, it'll be interesting to see what their response is going to be.
Well, we're going to get out of performative politics and get to brass tacks really quickly, because the faster that they solve it, the faster everybody looks better to their base. And yes, it's giving President Trump a victory, but the Democrats are getting what they want. So it seems to be a win-win. We'll see how we manage prosperity.
We'll see if both sides can be content to win.